Hey, it's Spence, the evil genius.
Oh, yes. Happy New Year. It's 2026, Monday, January 5th. I decided to extend my holiday last Friday. I was about to do the Friday office hours, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait because I have some things that I was brewing here in the lab. And I'm pretty excited. I actually got them done. So today, the first day I'm back for this live update, I'm actually going to treat you guys because over here is the new MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager and all the accoutrements that is going to really, I mean, I don't want to overstate this. This is the game changer for how things get done. I've actually been using this now with live clients. It also comes along with the new Simplified Business Model. So I'm going to give you a little longer, but not too long rundown. First of all, let me set the stage. For those of you who want to catch up, you know, we've been doing this now. I've been doing this for 19 years, but like the last 6 to 7 months in the AI field has really revolutionized what my expertise in WordPress and AI have brought to the table. And MinuteLaunch is the brand, MinuteLaunch AI in particular, but I still sell everything over at WP Launchify. MinuteLaunch itself has a lot of components, but the basic pricing boils down to this. And this is what's interesting from what I had been talking about previously. I figured out a way using the MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager to actually deliver the full suite of all the AI tools, including built-in dudes, all the traditional plugins, optional, self-hosted versus hosted by me, optional, getting any support or built-in support or fully done for you at the level that most businesses need, which is for their marketing and email automation and stuff, not worrying terribly too much about the higher level stuff. So with the help from a few friends, these are the new plans that are really pretty close to what we had offered before. But the primary plan is the MinuteLaunch AI fully hosted, launches in minutes, has the complete traditional software bundle, which I want to explain is really starting to deprecate. My voice did not heal from all the talking. There's about 125 traditional software plugins from WordPress. That is going to be reduced down, as you'll see, to just a couple, like 5 in most cases, which is remarkable. Nevertheless, all the traditional software that you need, all of the AI software, all of the plugins and the solutions I've written, plus the built-in API keys, which, by the way, same on this plan, fully documented and community access. So at the base level, whether you host it or not, whether you get the support or not, $97 a month. When you add the unlimited email support, hey, Spence, what do I do about this? If you have the hosting with the fully optimized Rocket.net accounts with all the security, the Cloudflare, CDN backups, my intermediary help, just adding that, the extra $100 a month, you have a concierge on call for email-based stuff, $197 a month. There is a $20 affiliate commission in this one. There's a $40 commission in this one. The $497 adds email list building. In other words, configure and set up your email list so that you're onboarding your new and prospective leads as well as customers. 1 time a week automated email, which is enough for most businesses. With professional email campaigns, I manage the marketing messaging using my expertise and my dudes. And I have marketing support. So in other words, questions related to marketing. That extra $300 goes a long way because you won't need a professional marketing person. Those 3 plans cover everything. You can save 16% if you go with prepaid for the annual. Okay, Spence, what do I get on the back end? Well, I want you to, let's turn off this focus mode. If we look at how this installs, the whole thing now is solved through what I built into the MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager. One plugin, MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager 632, delivers all of this goodness. I want you to also see that on the back end, there's really only like 2 plugins installed here, because all the rest of these are virtual plugins. There's FluentCRM, the free version, File Manager, which I don't really even need. That's just for me doing stuff. And the rest of this, and FluentMCP. The rest of this is just one plugin. Because what happens is the plugin manager now acts as the control center for both delivering and managing the relationship you have with me, whether you host on your own servers and get no support from me, or you do it where everything is taken care of for you on my servers or through Rocket. The plugins I've also streamlined. So now we essentially have just a few key components. Instead of the MinuteLaunch Claude and MinuteLaunch Cursor MCPs, which are walkie-talkies that allow your desktop agentic tools to talk to your WordPress site, we now have the FluentMCP, which I should mention is still available. And kudos to everybody who bought it Black Friday. I promised this would happen. There's a subset of my customers who just want to buy something once and be done, lifetime. The FluentMCP that's part of the MinuteLaunch bundle is sold by itself, albeit with the canvas block. It was $497 lifetime before. It's now $1497. Baking soda, saline spray. My throat is very sore today. 3 sites, $29.97. 10 sites, $39.97. Now, the 10-site package, that's $399 per client for lifetime to do some pretty crazy beneficial stuff. Very similar, but not quite all of the features to what you can do when you're in the MinuteLaunch AI system. But this still exists. Kudos to everybody who bought it for a fraction of that price, like I promised. The popularity of that and the power means that the price has gone up to reflect what the value is. Here, for your $97 a month or $197 a month, you get the FluentMCP and the FluentMCP Pro, which adds power tools for doing things like file management, for managing your plugins, your themes, doing WordPress related CLI commands. So between the two of these, there's about 180 tools that work with your desktop agentic tool, like Claude or Cursor. MinuteLaunch Simple Site is super game changer. I'm going to show you the detail. That is how, for 90% of my clients and myself now, you're getting to your final outcome with a built-in, there's so many things I added, this is going to blow your mind, but with a built-in agentic tool that builds and also has skills to do everything you needed, but he can do it in the site. So you no longer have to. You don't have to connect a desktop agentic tool. You could just use the desktop agentic tool that's sort of kind of built in here. Now, there are some subtle differences because when you're using a desktop agentic tool, your whole desktop of other things are available to it. But this guy actually is pretty cool because he does still have access to all the content in the WordPress site, including things we pull in from outside sources like Fathom. If you have a call with a customer, the Fathom takes in the call details, and the dude in the site is available to turn that Fathom call into something amazing, like an automated email campaign that they add automatically to this customer. We have the MinuteLaunch image editor, which allows you to create and also download incredibly gorgeous images that are AI enabled to your media library, or popular images from just the internet itself, as well as doing things like creating emojis or noun project icons for various reasons in your design. The Media Library Hub P2P allows you to save, share, sell, organize the content in your media library to other customers. This would be very popular for somebody, for example, who is acquiring curated imagery for a variety of reasons, business and pleasure. But it uses the Media Hub library to turn that into a peer-to-peer sharing tool with MCP connectivity, meaning your AI can manage it. And then finally, the MinuteLaunch MCP, LaunchKit MCP, that's what's replacing the standard LaunchKit. And this is how we tame down the dashboard whether you're a human or an MCP. This is how the traditional plugins from the software bundle can be managed and installed. You don't any longer need an outside LaunchKit plugin or endless amounts of frustration working with plugins individually. It can all be updated, managed really quickly and easily from here. This also has the tools, including the administrative tools, to chill out the dashboard for things like, hey, I do not want to see 1,000 notices at the top of the screen selling products. Instead, it can calm it down. Now, one thing I want to point out is that the MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager acts as the hub for everything for you and your client. And the thing that really has benefited the outcome is, watch what happens when I go into simple site focus mode. This button here turns the entire WordPress experience, as promised, into like 2 links. And actually, this isn't even accurate because normally when I'm on another menu, that thing like flies out. So it's really 1 link to run the whole site. And that's crazy town awesome. Now, I want to spend some time on Simple Site. Besides the Simple Site focus mode, imagine you are creating a solution for yourself, your customers who have zero knowledge, zero interest, zero experience with WordPress. Seeing the full WordPress dashboard, even with a limited subset, it's mind-numbingly confusing. They have to understand metaphors like install a theme, set up the header of the theme, install the icon, do the font, do the customizer. What's a page? What's a post? How do I do this? I got to set up the Gutenberg. I could go down a list of 1,000 things you have to know just to use WordPress, which I've spent 19 years teaching. Simple Site turns that into this. You've got a page that allows you to create a whole site manually or with the help of an agentic tool in or out of the site. I provide the keys for a tool that's an AI assistant inside of here who can not only set everything up, but can also create the content. And this agentic tool has the ability not only to interact with you and search and do stuff, but also to create the content that you want to use in the site and save it, share it, build it with other stuff, combine it with the ability to dynamically onboard new customers with new products into the CRM and keep track of it, or automatically email them. It has built-in skills that it can use, but you can also train it with new skills. It can also save complete sites. So for example, when I use this page to build a whole site, I can actually see what was created in the past now and save it, share it, sell it, reuse it, or distribute it to a customer. This export function takes whatever it is that I've built here in my primary site, and it gives me all of the versions of it, including the individual components, but I can export it. And in as fast as export import, I've got the full site ready to go for the new client with the details. So things that I've added since last time I've had this conversation really take this to another level. I want to mention, by the way, that if you go to the plugin manager, notice how simple this all is. If I want to check if I have the latest of everything, I simply click one button and it updates everything instantly. 6 plugins. That's enough to make all of this work. I don't need more complicated. The startup guide is going to be set up so that you and your client have something as simple as this. 1 page, maybe 10 items. These are all the outcomes that you want. I would like to build a beautiful community site that sells a membership. I would like to do an automated email campaign that onboards customers. I would like to do a Black Friday sale. Outcome skills built into a documentation that is as simple as just click and go. And since this documentation and the skills are accessible to the built-in agent, the weird thing is it's actually better in some cases just to use the built-in agent. When you offer this to yourself or a client, the skills, the personality, what are the attributes of this business can be saved in the settings of the built-in dude, including the default AI model, about how it should behave and what's the color scheme and what should I do. Similarly, it comes with default skills, the things that over time in history with my clients, I've learned are really important. Things like call to actions, featured grids, Fluent CRM onboarding forms, sign-up forms, hero sections. But you can also add your own skills from my library of curated stuff or from your own experiences. I did this today with Irina and Antonio. So we can customize this to use whatever you think is important. But the cool thing is that this dude can now be accessed by any person who's an admin or an editor who you want to be able to actually build stuff on the site, versus the desktop tools that's personal to each person. The continuity, this is amazing. For example, I could be in this mode here and I could use, I prefer Claude Sonnet 4.5, but I can switch into Gemini 3 Pro. Hey man, I'm a cool designer. And I can then use one of the skills like, let's build a hero section. I'm going to say about the benefits of using the MinuteLaunch system to build new websites with WordPress, easier, faster, better. Do some research from MinuteLaunch.com and then design something in the same color schemes that you find on that website. MinuteLaunch.com. Now, I can help it because I can give it the color palettes and things like that, or I can build that into the style. One of the ways I can help it is I can use one of these free Chrome extension tools like Miro, or what's this other one I use? CSS Peeper. And so one of the things I can do is I can go to a particular site and I can look at the color palette and I can just sort of say, here's the color palette, export that, right? Or I could just copy whatever I want to do. But see, it's as easy as this. If you really want to help it and be specific, you can help it as much or as little as you want to. I'm going to help it a little and just give them this color palette. Now, what happens is this tool with the API built in is ready to go. He is taking my chat, saving it as a historical chat for future reference. He's creating content, a block of content, which will be saved and be available for future stuff. He could be learning a skill or using a pre-made skill that I tweak and further refine to be awesome, always available to me or anybody on the team. And then he's doing a full site build out. So here he built, per my instructions, something awesome. Now, when I'm using the dude in here, all I need to do is just add a new block, paste it in. And if I want, I can get rid of all of these other blocks that I previously had to just give you a fair shake at what I'm building this time. I have a button that I should have clicked that says delete all, but that's okay. So I'm just going to delete all of these. And what these are drag and drop, right? So if I wanted to rearrange the order, I just make a block. I give it a title. I'll call it hero section. And I can then, arrange it. Testimonials over hero, hero over testimonials. Okay. I can also preview this, see what it is that's going to have inside of it. But what I really am going to do is I'm just going to save all the changes. Now, if I don't want to lose that, I can also save. This is awesome. Save that block specifically. Hero section like MinuteLaunch. Why? And I can save it as a type. Because now, even before I go to check out what I built, I've now got blocks. Look, here's the hero section that I can go back to in the future and build with again. Just drag and drop it into a new layout. If I like this layout, I can save the whole layout. How do I do that? Well, there's two ways I can do it. The first thing I can do is go to builds and just give this a name. I'll call it hero layout like MinuteLaunch. This is a full site build out. This is the whole setup ready to preview, right? In the future, if I want, I can load it, export it, delete it. Let's look at the site. Now, I saved all the changes. I preview the site. Couple things that I want to show you that I didn't do. Site setup. Do I want it to be a multi-page or a single page? Do I want it to show on a specific page where I can do it, or the whole site? Do I want a header navigation? I'm going to say no. I don't want one, but I could put one in that has all of that included so that I don't have to worry about building it. It all just comes from here. I don't have to learn about the theme. Now, this is interesting to me. There's 2 blocks. I built a whole site. I can add to this or change this. One of the things I would tell it to change would be make sure that the colors are white and can be visible. Easy to fix. I just go to the dude and I tell him, let's go to my chat here. And I'm just going to load that. And I'm going to say to him, I love what you did, but be sure that the hero section fonts are white on that dark background. Give it back to me. Now, I can easily just modify the CSS in the block because it's pretty simple to do, but I don't need, or the client doesn't need to know how to do CSS. I've got the dude. The dude understands what he just built and he can just edit it right here. Notice it's the same or as powerful as if I had gone and used my Claude or Cursor, but I don't have to worry about setting up the connection. I don't have to pay the outside fee for that. This is already just built in. So now he's giving me back the same thing, but notice it's white on white. And all I have to do is, for at least this manual version of it, just change it. And I'm going to get rid of the testimonial section because that doesn't really fit. And I'll just save it. And once it's saved, I'll preview again. Pretty amazing. Now, this has the ability to do pixel perfect design. If I gave it another site, I could literally, like you see here, clone and copy this design, clone and copy this content. I can go and use the other tools for getting content. Like, for example, either the dude can do it in the site, your desktop can do it, or I can do it. I can go into the media library tools. And for example, if I go here to, let's do Media Hub, image import. Let's look for a picture of Spencer Foreman. Now I can do different sizes, different legal rights to use the image and so forth. Doesn't make a difference. The point is I can pull up an array of existing images from the internet and use any or all of them, right? So I can take this image, save it to the media library. That's useful because the dude here or the dude on your desktop now can use that image link as part of the design, right? So if I just literally go back to what I was working on here and I say to my dude in Simple Site, I'm going to go, hey, use the image of this guy and make another panel, make it a 2-panel layout, which describes his background and history. This is Spencer Foreman from spencerforeman.com. If you want, you can get more information about him there and bring it in. spencerforeman.com. Notice this is Gemini 3 Pro. Most of the time, Gemini is kind of like, hey, man, that's cool. It looks cool, but not really good at research. I'd probably use like Sonnet or Opus for this, but I'm going to just stick with this anyway. I'm going to ask him to go out and get some more information, build another panel. Notice I didn't use the skill. I'm just raw prompting, if that's a word. But you don't have to be really specific because it already kind of understands what it's doing in context of what the previous block was. Let's see what it gives me back, because I want to show you a feature that's really amazing with a Fathom. Okay, so again, whether this aesthetically looks like we want, we add a new block. We'll call this Spencer Foreman, or whatever we want to have if we had a navigation menu, which I'll show you in a second. And save all the changes. And let's preview. And it does pretty good job, pretty clean. It did do some research and found out different things from spencerforeman.com. And that panel is above the other panel. So maybe what I would do is probably change the order of things, like I showed you. Super simple to do. If I want the hero above the Spencer Foreman, just reorganize it. If I want him to make the colors the same, what I would probably do is either include those colors in the prompt or just simply say to him, give him the URL and say, I love what you did with the Spencer Foreman, but it doesn't look like you used the same colors as the hero section. Can you change the colors and make it almost identical to the hero section color scheme? Just tell it what you need specifically, and it can go and see the difference and make the changes. Now, let's say I'm having customer interaction and I'm building a site, or Spence is doing your marketing, and you want to add everybody to your list so that you can continue to communicate with them. That's a lot of work. With the simple site and the new setup of MinuteLaunch, you don't have to do anything, and you can use the free FluentCRM because we've added new capabilities to it where it can actually extricate out from any of your content the contact info and create marketing emails, automations, triggers, actions. Watch and have your mind blown. Now, I'm not so sure that I agree that those colors are good. So what I would probably do would be, build a skill, give it the better color scheme, maybe remind it from what I had downloaded before. These are just challenges. You didn't use the color palette from before. Here it is. And what I would do here is I would probably just take the download that I had previously of that color palette and just give it to it again. But the color palette, this is where actually I'm going to show you what I would do to make this consistent so I don't have to do it. I'm going to go into settings. And remember here, I can put in instructions. Here is the site color palette to use for all blocks. Paste that in. Now I don't have to worry about doing that every time. Okay. So if I go back to the dude and I just say, let's actually make a new chat. Well, I'll load the block that I had because that's easier. I'll go here and I'm just going to say, I've given you the color palette I want. Can you remake that Spencer Foreman content with the proper colors? And I think it should work. If it doesn't, I'll just paste the color palette in here, but I think it should know. Let's see if that works. I like what you did with that Spencer Foreman layout, but I would like you to use the color palette that I've saved on the site. Can you use this? I think maybe I might have possibly broken something by posting in this JSON. My suspicion is that I did because that's what it's showing me here. Let's see. No, okay. Okay. What happened is I broke it. Don't post full JSON. Lesson from Spence. Let's go back here. It's not happy if you post JSON because those brackets and things are breaking the heck out of things. Sorry, kids. It's either that or it was just too much. What I would probably do is instead, I would just put the color palette itself, just the hex numbers. So let's try this again. Hey, listen, it's brand new. What do you want? And I think I had the colors in here anyway. I could probably remake them from that, but let's just say, I like what you did with that Spencer Foreman 2-panel layout, but can you do it in the orange and black and gray colors of MinuteLaunch.com like you did for the first panel? And I think if you do it this way, you'll end up with a better result. Let's see if I get the, nope. I like what you did with the Spencer Foreman content layout, but can you change the colors here to be the same orange, blacks, and grays as the MinuteLaunch.com site? And again, I could do this a lot of different ways, but one of the tools that I could use would be just helping it along using like a Chrome tool and inspecting the color palette, right? And I can do this a number of ways. One of the things I can do here is just drag. All you gotta do is just drag over the top of that is enough to just get the hexadecimal. That's all. And I could save that probably without breaking stuff. Because this is getting long in the tooth, let me show you one other feature, because the design stuff is cool, but the design stuff is not the coolest. The coolest is the ability to use this tool to extricate data. And to do that, I'm going to go over to MinuteLaunch itself, because I've got this connected to Fathom. Now, what I want to explain to you, which is super cool, is Fathom is the plugin that connects to my Fathom AI. It's connected and pulls in live conversations. So when I'm having calls with clients, it's automatically getting all of the data and bringing it into my site. And it still allows me to go and watch the old recording if I pop up a window or share it and do. But the data from this can be used to determine and create content to send to this person or to add them to the CRM, etc. So for example, if I took this recording of a whole conversation with Fred, I can analyze it here using the plugin and ask it questions, give it summaries. But then I can go ahead and, again, using the tool here, if I haven't broken the settings, let me make sure I've cleared this out. I'm going to go back to Sonnet 4.5 because it's smarter. If I use the settings here, watch, if I'll make a new chat, I'm going to paste this in and I'm going to say, use one of the skills like, I don't think I even have to say the skill. I think I could just tell it. Let's just tell it. Summarize this call I had with Fred and add these people to my CRM. When this works properly, hopefully I didn't break no, I think I broke the Open Router API. I'm going to put the new key in. When this works properly, what it does is it actually extricates the data out. I'm just going to put a new key in here. 1 second. I'm going to make a new Open Router key live. New key. Okay. The keys are included by me, but I just want to make sure that I didn't break the key. So let's see if this works. I'm going to take this data, just a block of stuff that's, again, when I'm doing it in the same site, I can just actually get it from the plugin. I don't have to copy it, but here I'm going to paste it. Can you summarize my conversation with Fred and extricate the contact data and add it to the CRM? Now, notice too, there's a button here. You can just click this button for contacts and that will do it for you. That's probably faster instead of doing two things at once. But watch what it does. It's reading through the information that comes from a phone call or an email or whatever I had. And it's telling me, here's all the people that I can add to the CRM. And if they have the emails, it'll give me the emails. Now, in that case, I actually didn't have any emails in it, so I picked a bad thing. But if I chose something that had the emails in it, let's do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the original meeting. I'll do it on the screen here so you can see it. I'm going to go to Fathom on screen. I know I can get the emails from like the last call that I just had. So let's say I go to this call I just had with Antonio and Irina. If I just click to copy this transcript, I know that transcript has all their emails. So watch what happens. I go here, paste it into the chat, and I just click the extract contacts, C-O-N-T-A-C-T, contacts. And it will get the contacts out and allow me to add them to the CRM. But then I can do a follow-up email, which is what's going to be cool. So notice there's me, Antonio, and Irina. For some reason, their email didn't show up. Maybe we didn't talk about it. But look, I can add Spencer, Hope at WP Launchify to the CRM. I click and add him to the CRM. He's now in the CRM. Let's make something, which is, I'm going to say, summarize the conversation that I had with Antonio and Irina and give me a bullet list item, but draft an email that looks like it was written on a word processor on a piece of paper, signed by my assistant AI, Fernando, with a signature line, and make it look like a real piece of paper, kind of 3D. So I'm telling it to make an email response. This can be saved as a skill or a block or as a reusable section. But what's really cool is I can now leverage FluentCRM and its SMTP connection to send out and then memorialize any conversations with clients after a call. So in other words, I can use my Gmail if I want, but I can also use my FluentCRM. But now the FluentCRM not only memorializes this custom message with the follow-up and knows what it is, but it also has a stylistic capability that you just can't do inside of normal email clients. Like Gmail doesn't allow you normally to take HTML and do something interesting. Likewise, if in the future you want to make a marketing message, you can make it here. It made it look like it's on old-fashioned paper. And now I could do two things. If I click email, I could copy this and go right to Gmail and just do the old-fashioned way, right? If I'll just literally make a new message. And if I paste this here, it's got that cool styling without any problems. I would probably do something a little more attractive than this, but it followed my instructions. But that's janky. Why bother? Why not just search for somebody in the database who's in the CRM now, like Spencer Foreman, Hope at WP Launchify, and go, hey, Spence, here's a follow-up. And I can CC myself, help at WPLaunchify.com, so that I also get it. Why is this awesome? Watch. This now gets sent out by FluentCRM, leveraging the contact connection I have through my SMTP service. But I can also just go to that contact and see that now the historical emails that I created are available with the cool formatting. So I can automatically create an automation from this. I can tag them. I can use this as a customer follow-up for specific products. But what's neat is that this is now something I can also save with SimpleSite into a block. Once I've created this content, right? Here's paper memorandum. I can save this block and call it paper memorandum. Hero, I could call it other. Okay. Save. Now, why is that awesome? Let's say I want to make a new one and I just change who it's going to. Hey there, make a new paper memorandum to Bob Smith and say, hey, Bob, it was great talking to you today. I hope you'll buy my products and you'll use SimpleSite and it changes your whole world. Signed, Spence. Now, if I want to be specific, I could just refer to the name paper memorandum. I can make a skill, or I can even just paste in the block content. The point is, it's now got everything it needs in this site to make the new content. And if I use it as a template in FluentCRM, even better, because now I can use things like the placeholder. So for example, if you're doing a mass mailing, like a campaign, and you go to the FluentCRM and you go over here to email templates, all you need to do is take this memorandum, create a new template, or have your dude do it. Use the HTML format, paste it, and then at the top where it says, hey, Antonio, or whatever we said originally. Let's do, right, action items, executive summary. I guess it's at the top. Oh, here. To Spencer Foreman from Fernando regarding. Okay, just go here and replace that with the first name. Now, instead of to Spencer Foreman, it'll be to contact name. And now I've got a template where I can also, you know, dear contact name. Here's a memo. Now I've got essentially a bulletproof template that will go to different people about whatever the topic is. and you're good to go. You save this as a template. And we got to give it a title. And it gave it an automatic one, but let's call it memorandum email. Now I can use this in the future for anything I want because it's the style and look and the feel. When I go back to the dude, let's see what he made. He made a new memorandum to Bob. And notice he just used the same format, changed the topic, literally what I said, good to go. Now, I can turn this content into other things. This dude is smart enough to do an onboarding skill. I need to make a form, but who the hell wants to use the form builders when I can do it this way? Let's do a new chat. And I'm going to say, let's use the skill of how about a Fluent CRM onboarding form. Okay. I would like to use this as an onboarding form with the same color schemes as the rest of the site. Orange, black, gray, white, to get new people in and make that have maybe 4 choices of what's your skill level. Newbie, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And depending on which skill level somebody has, take them to a custom thank you page that has a different message based on their skill. Make sure to add them to the CRM onto the main list. So I've told it, like, make a form, make it do these things, make it style like the rest of the site. And in doing so, I don't have to use anything with Fluent Forms. It will bypass all of that and make something that will send the person right into the CRM. All of the things that I'm doing now can be done once, and then in the future, never have to be done again. You can literally have it fully automated from there because, as I'm showing you, these are skills that you can just have your dude operate on an automated basis. So he's made this form. Let's put it into the site. We'll add a new section, onboarding form. Let's maybe put it below the hero section. Above Spencer. Save. By the way, when I click Simple Site Focus, if I'm a client, look what I see. All I see is just the whole site set up. It's all here. That's it. Nothing else. Don't need anything else. I could toggle this on and off if I need to see other stuff, but 99% of the time it's just there. Let's preview the site now. One of the things that I want to point out is make sure you click Save Changes. I didn't click Save Changes. Let's try it again. Something else is also not happening. Let's check. Hold on. Let's sure that I be sure to actually copy paste properly too. So I don't know what happened there, but the good news is it's all here, right? So I could just paste it back in. I was distracted. Save changes. Preview. Okay, so here's my onboarding form. Let's see what happens. Billy Bob at Thornton.com. I love his TV shows. What's his skill level? He's intermediate. Join now. It didn't make the thank you page. I'll admit you that. We'll fix that in a second. But let's see if it succeeded, because I know it's capable. Let's see if it succeeded in making the contact, which it should have. There's Billy Bob, and he's added to the main list, intermediate. Let's fix what it didn't do right with the thank you page, because I have a feeling it just didn't hear me or didn't do it properly. So let's go back and let's just tweak that. Remember, we can go back into the chat. The form is awesome, but you didn't build the thank you page. I need you to build the thank you page and handle the redirection so that when somebody submits, they're taken to the proper thank you page based upon their choice of skill level. Fix the form and give it back to me. And build the other page. Now, what's interesting is this is the kind of skill that is not difficult for your desktop tool to do, but the desktop tool has to obviously connect, use the MCP, you got to configure it and so on and so forth. What's kind of neat is that while this is inside of the site, there's not that much more for me to do. I just literally having it build the components. And if it wants, it can give me the page manually, but it can actually use the REST API tools, the MinuteLaunch canvas block, to build stuff. In fact, while he's doing this one, I did one right before this live show. I'm going to come back to it. I don't know which one of these I did. I'll look at it because I saved it. Let's go back. Let's go back and see if he does this right this time in the event. Okay. So let's copy this and try it again. Now, one of the things that also is useful is when you're building this stuff, if you've not set your permalinks, it's not a bad idea to check your permalinks, because the permalinks could have something to do with whether page is visible. What's permalinks, Spence? Well, just go to settings, permalinks, and just save them once, because that makes sure that things work properly, right? Otherwise, sometimes that could be a reason why the redirection didn't happen. Let's try it again. Tony Tiger, Tony@tiger.com. He's advanced. Let's see. It's made the page, but what's interesting, there's no content on here. So one of the things that I want to ask him about is, let's make the page. And if I go on the back end, I also want to see if thank you advanced is there. Now, this is actually interesting because a lot of the stuff I see here, it's got like thank you, premium, urgent. I think he's just not understanding what he's doing. But bottom line, if I were to give it the actual page, like for example, I'm going to say to it, you were trying to make the thank you advanced page, but it didn't work. And I think you have access to MinuteLaunch Canvas block so that you can make this happen. But give me the content that will go on the thank you page for an advanced customer that will go to this URL. And I'll just take this so he knows what we're talking about. And all we need to do is just have the appropriate page match up with the form. But what you did see is we're able to avoid using the forms. We're able to add the contact. We're able to have the form recorded and memorialized as if it was a real form, so it can apply tags, do automations, so on and so forth. And the rest of it is pretty easy, because at the end of the day, all we're really doing is just building blocks and creating content. The tool can do it automatically, or we can use our desktop tool. Let's do add pages. I think this page is okay, but I'm going to do it from scratch. MinuteLaunch Canvas block, which again, one of our components. Thank you, advanced. And when you're using the MinuteLaunch Canvas block, you essentially are hijacking Gutenberg to do everything you need without having to mess around with anything complicated. So here's my thank you page. And what I would probably do for this is I'll hide the header and footer. And if I remade this, I'd probably make it so that it looks like the rest of the stuff. And let's do it one more time. So if I go back over here, the content works. So let's go full circle. I'm going to do, instead of Tony Tiger, I'll do Fred Johnston. It's Fred at johnston.com. And let's say he's an advanced as well. Join now. And there you go. So the takeaway from all this is I'm really excited because from a business model, from a delivery model, I've got a way for you as a single site owner, as an agency owner, if somebody wants to put your customers on it, to get for less than the cost of the value proposition, a solution that uses all the power of WordPress with AI and not excluding your use of desktop agentic tools, but in collaboration with them. You can even get most of your results in site. And because we've also been able to take some of the other complicated features that would have otherwise required lots of knowledge, setup, extra cost of plugins, and build them in, I think within the next couple of days or week or two, we're going to have something that is ridiculous, remarkable. I mean, for between $97 and $497 a month, somebody can have a full-blown solution for their entire business, their marketing, their email, their customer support, their community, all of this with everything that you own and control. An important point before I go, the ownership and control. When you're using the MinuteLaunch system, you are never trapped. If you are on the FluentMCP with the Canvas block, the Canvas block is a free plugin that stays with you. If you build something on it with or without the help of the AI, you don't lose the block when you stop paying me. If you build with Simple Site, you don't lose the content you built, but you will lose access to the AI, to the building new stuff. You'll keep everything you made. You won't make anything new. Since everything you made is an HTML, that's a really fair bargain, because you can take any of this stuff, like here's the onboarding form, and you could go anywhere with it, I could go right now and do, I used to use this tool called CodePen. I could go to a CodePen and just to show you like how this works, paste in the HTML and bing, bam, boom, here's my contact form ready to use. This is universal. And this is really remarkable because you have full sites that are built out, ready to use anywhere. You don't even need technically WordPress for some of the stuff, but obviously for the functionality, but not for the design. So that's an important thing that I wanted to point out, because you are not locked into a cage with me, but I'm trying to make it possible for you, for your own businesses, for your clients' businesses, to have a platform that enables all this crazy capability, especially with the AI, and yet has 100% full ownership and control, and yet doesn't provide me a way to get into trouble where somebody absconds the main capabilities and uses it in a nefarious way. The MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager is nothing more than essentially a service key that connects you to virtual software. And as a result, I can have some degree of control that's in my comfort level where this won't be used in a weird way, like somebody taking my plugin and turning it into a naughty plugin. Because that would be very bad for you, very bad for me. I don't want to be in a situation where people use the open source nature of what WordPress normally does. But WordPress and open source allows you to have a service delivered through a key plugin. And that's what we're doing. All right. Longer than I thought, but hopefully that gives some of you the excitement that you need. This is delivering today. It's already out. If you're a paid customer, you're going to get it. Now, last bit of news. If you are a FluentMCP customer from the Black Friday sale, or if you are a LaunchFlows customer, you will be converted into a MinuteLaunch customer. You will get LaunchFlows traditional plugin. You will get the software bundle. You will get FluentMCP. You will get it through MinuteLaunch now. And that way I can still give you day, month, week, year, lifetime, but you're going to be getting it through a mechanism that allows for these simple updates and automated processes and checks and balances and so forth, without taking in any way, shape, or form any of your control away. I love you guys. Looking forward to the next update. See you tomorrow. Bye.